And prayer we must, this very evening and always going forward. And I will pray in the language of heaven, because Chuks is in control of all that we have been doing and will continue to do until Biafra is restored and all the suffering indigenous populations in the damnable zoological republic are set free. Chineke na nke pụrụ ihe niile Chuks banye ndefe we na-aja ha nsọ ya mma mgbe niile. Onye ọbụla na ya na-achị eluigwe n'ụwa na-agba akaebe ịhụnanya gị na ebere gị amara gị n'ọmịiko gị ebe ndị gị na-eze ebede ngọzi. Anyị wee na-etoghị agbanyeghị atụmatụ ọjọọ niile nke ndị iro. Iwe nye anyị ndụ ala nke dị ndụ n'ụbọchị nke taa. Anyị wee na-asị na ịja mma niile otu niile dịrị aha nsọ gị. Onye ọ bụ naanị aka ike niile na ọ gbadara aka ya. Anyị wee na-akpọku gị na-asị gị na nke ọma anyị ga-ekele gị, nke ọjọọ ma anyị kelee gị. Anyị wee na-aja gị mma, wee na-eto gị, wee na-asọpụrụ gị n'isi ụmụ gị niile bụ ndị ikwu ndị wee eziokwu mgbe a kpọrọ ha ka ha wee chekwaa ala nsọ gị bụ Biafra onye nwe m na Chineke na ihe ndị kwuru anyị nkwa na o mekataghị ka ndị iro wee were ala nsọ Biafra onye nwe m na Chineke na nke bi n'igwe. Agbanyeghị atụmatụ ọjọọ niile nke ndị iro ma ndị na-agba mgbọgba ebe niile dị iche iche onye nwe m na Chineke nna ihere bụ nke ndị dị etu a n'ụbọchị nke taa. Anyị wee na-eto gị, wee na-asị onye nwe anyị na Chineke nna nke pụrụ m ihe niile, onye ọ bụ naanị ya na-azọpụta, onye ọ bụ naanị ya bụ okwu ya niile bụ ihe na amen. Anyị wee na-asị ezi ebube dị ngọzi na ọtụtụ na ịja mma na nsọpụrụ site n'ebighị ebi ma ruo n'ebighị ebi. Ise ise ise.
Welcome, my amazing viewers. Thank you so much for joining me on the program once again. I appreciate you wherever you are joining me from. If you are joining me from Africa, Asia, Europe, America, Australia, or Canada, wherever you are joining me from, I thank you very much for your contribution on this channel. Please, each time you come to my channel after watching, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Subscribe. Click the notification bell so that you'll be notified each time I post a video. You will be among the first to receive it. And also share the video. Share the video to all platforms. Share it to your family and friends. Share it to people who need to hear our voice. You never can tell who will come across the video. So that they will know that we said it before it begin to happen. So that they will know the true story of what is going on in the country of Nigeria. We are not preaching hate speech. We are not talking against anybody. Neither are we preaching against anybody. We are saying the truth. The truth and nothing but the truth. Calling the enemy by their name. We don't try to be politically correct over here. We say live and let's live. And for those who have said we will not live, just like the Fulani Janjaweed are saying that will not live, they will not live either. We can never give our life for any peace. We want peace, but not with our own life, not at the detriment of our life. We are going to fight till the last man standing for us to survive. If you have not joined the prayer that we are making, 150 days prayer that our Spirit and God started with us in preparation for what is happening today, please join. The prayer is almost getting to an end. And as the prayer is going, things are being unveiled. If you are not in the spirit, you cannot be able to join. If you are not in the spirit, you cannot be able to stand. If you are not in the spirit, you are going to fall by the side. A lot of propaganda is going to come. A lot of distraction is going to come. The only way you can be able to stand firm and know the word that comes from Asuna Mazan Kam is when you are prayerful. If you are prayerful, praying along with him in your knees, just as he is doing for you. Even as we speak now, our Asuna Mazan Kam is on his knees, praying for you and I. Why are we not going to pray with him at least once in a day? He prays 7 times for us, 7 times every day. Why can't we pray for him once a day? We must have to join him, and the victory will surely be ours. As you can see, already our enemies are losing. Our enemies are losing. They are coming from all angles, fighting with everything they know they have, because they know that the end have come. Biafra is here already. For those of you who don't know that Biafra is here, Biafra is here already. That is why you see so many things that are happening unfolding from east, left, right, and center. In our sit at home, the sit at home continues every Monday. It doesn't matter what anybody is preaching or saying out there. That is the weapon we have. We are not forcing anybody. Neither are we fighting against anybody. Neither are we killing anybody because of sit at home. All we are hearing is our opinion. Civil disobedience. All over the world, civil disobedience is being practiced, and people achieve a lot through civil disobedience. The Gandhi that we know in India was able to redeem India because of civil disobedience, which included the sitting at home. They stayed away from work so many times. That was why their voice was heard and India was saved and they got their independence. We are doing the same thing in Biafra land. Civil disobedience, it is not a crime. It is not a crime. It is the right thing to do to air our opinion. Whoever tells you that civil disobedience is a crime, it is not a crime. And when you are talk about paying sacrifice or going hunger, why must you stop people from doing their business and getting money? Why must you do this and why must you do that? Let me tell you, in every freedom, there must be a sacrifice, including the countries you are taking example from. Just like the video I saw that Madu made when he was telling us that he had never seen where people be able to get their freedom to sit at home. That is a very senseless thing to say. Someone like Madu who should know better should understand what we call civil disobedience. He said that people do not get their freedom, they do not get their this by staying at home, that they go and fight their enemy. They go and fight. Ask Ekweremadu, how many times have you fought your enemy who is standing against your people? What fight are you putting on? What fight are you putting on? You gave us example of America and Britain and so many other places that they didn't do sit at home and they are strong. Do you know the war that America fought before they became how they are? America fought war before they became how they are. There was a strong revolution in America. In France, there was a revolution. In Britain, there was a revolution. In all over the world where you see meaningful countries existing with, they had a revolution, a bloody revolution. What revolution are you doing to make sure that things change in the life of people, even in the contraption called Nigeria? None. You only come to talk down on something that is working. The sit at home that you are even discussing Biafra today is because of the sit at home. You are discussing Biafra and discussing the affairs of the people today is because of sit at home. That is why Ekweremadu is standing in public to defend and talk about the situation of the people. If we do not have a sit at home, we won't talk about it. So, sit at home is our tool. We must hold it dearly to our heart and continue to implement it. Anytime that sit at home is being called, more especially this Monday sit at home, continue to participate in it. If you do not participate in it, you go outside and you kill yourself. Don't say anybody kill you. You can decide to commit your suicide as you want. You know what is happening these days. That the DSS are killing people to tarnish the image of IPOB. It is no longer a propaganda. It is clear evidence. There is now evidence that people can see. You saw the one that happened in Imo State. A DSS member was killed in the name of an unknown gunman. They were fighting an unknown. Police was shooting at an unknown gunman. After the shooting, they killed one of the unknown gunmen. They went there and found out it was a member of DSS. What did they do? They come back and told us it was an accidental discharge. How can you have accidental discharge of almost 4 bullets in somebody's chest? Accidental discharge. Not 1 bullet, not 2, not 3. 4 in different points in the chest. This is what is happening. That is why we will say, Biafrans, if you want to stay alive, listen to your brothers who are giving you the information on what is happening. We are not frightening you or threatening you. We are telling you the real information on how to stay alive. Do not participate in anything that has to do with election. Stay away from election. Stay away from it. Stay very far from anything. Any emblem that has election in it, stay away. Anytime a sit at home is being called, participate in the sit at home fully. It's not going to take anything away from you. Taking away 1 day from your business in a week will not take anything from you. On the next day, if you participate on the sit at home willfully with your heart, I bet you the next day you will sell greater than what you have sold on Monday. Combination of everything you sell on Monday, you will get it double fold on Tuesday. Or any other day you decide to come out. That is the obvious truth. But when you are lying to yourself and trying to blackmail yourself, you will end up continuing to suffer in your debt and misery. This is the situation. And finally, as Chuks is vindicating IPOB, vindicating ESN, and our Shulamazinandekam, you have seen that Umahi himself have come out to admit that he is the one responsible for the killings that are happening in the contraption called in the southeastern part of Nigeria. Umahi came on national television to exonerate IPOB and ESN. He told us that he is the one. Even when he said it in different language or people try to be correct about it, that is exactly what he said. When you told us that the people who are killing are not IPOB, that IPOB people have hijacked IPOB. The only language of hijack, when you talk about hijack, you are talking about government. And once it's going to do with the state, you are talking about state government. The only people who makes the movement of hijacking every society to turn it around is the government. In this case of Anambra State, the government is involved. And you have seen Umahi coming to tell you that politicians are involved. What does that tell you? The politicians who are interested in that Anambra State is the APC people. And that APC, they are, Umahi is their chairman. Abga is not left aside. PDP is not left aside. These politicians, all of them, they are the one causing the mayhem in Anambra State. Trying to demonize the IPOB and ESN in order to push forward their own agenda. When you hear, that's why when I see people talking about hijack, anybody that uses that language hijack, beware of that very person. He is not a good person. Anybody that is so quick to talk about hijack, they don't mean well for you and I. It doesn't matter the organization they belong. They might even be members of IPOB. Each time you see them in their platform, they always talk about hijack. You hijack IPOB, you hijack. Anybody using that language, beware of them. They are not genuine. They are not genuine. The people who own that language, hijack, is the Nigerian government through the Janjaweed. They did it in NSAS. You saw what they did in NSAS. The videos are everywhere. Up to as I'm speaking to you, the videos are there. You can see the videos flying everywhere. They are still in Facebook as I speak to you. Where the DSS members brought hoodlums to go and attack innocent protesters. We saw it on video. They gave them weapons, gave them ammunition. They went and destroyed cars, burned houses. Which the car of DSS, the jeep from Asorok, we saw it. The plate number showed everything. It's not hidden. The following day, we hear about hijack. They told us that hoodlums have hijacked the protest. And the next thing, they begin to kill people, shoot sporadically. The same thing happened in Lagos State. You saw what happened in Lagos State. The same thing played out in Lagos State. You saw a government vehicle. A government vehicle that was supposed to mean to convey people from place to place. They used that very luxurious bus to bring hoodlums. It is on video. It is not a it is on video. Bring hoodlums. They brought them down, told them to go after the protesters. Who sponsored them? The vehicle is a government vehicle. It is not private. Government sponsored these things. And the next day, what do we hear? They say they have hijacked the MSAS protest. This same hijack is still playing around in Imo State. In Imo State, it played out. You saw them, DSS went and broke prison, removed people. They came out and began to say, the next few minutes, they said it's IPOB. But as Chuks might have it, Chuks with his own authority, I believe that when Hope Uzodinma made that very comment he made, he wasn't with his senses. And he will be regretting. He will be regretting to today why he made a case for IPOB. He came out, the chief secretary of the state came out and said, these people are not from, they are not even Igbos. They are not from Imo State. And they are not members of IPOB. Today, that same hijack is what Umahi has brought forward again. To place on the table that they have hijacked the struggle. Who hijacked struggle? Nobody can hijack the Biafra struggle. Everybody in this old Southeastern region, they are Biafrans. You don't hijack something you own. How can you hijack something that you own, something that belongs to you? How can you hijack it? Something that belongs to you. So when you begin to preach, there is nobody, no human being existing in the old Southeastern region that we hijack Biafra. You don't hijack something that belongs to you. The only people that make that move is the government. Those politicians who have interest in the Janjaweed affair. Those politicians, they are the ones who are responsible for the hijack. And Umahi have come on national television to confess about this, that he and his cohorts are responsible for the killings in Anambra State. So stop demonizing the IPOB. Watch this video from beginning to end. Watch it carefully. To every statement he's going to make, you will catch what I'm saying.
All right, welcome back. Well, yes, we do have His Excellency Dave Umahi, Chairman of Southeast Governors Forum and Governor of Ebonyi State, joining us on the program today. Good morning, Your Excellency. Thank you for joining us on the program today. Now, yeah, for the umpteenth time, the forum has spoken about security in the Southeast. Yet, you have some of these matters just, it just seems to not go away. Why does it appear intractable addressing the challenges concerning security in the Southeast?
Well, I don't think that the security of Southeast is totally different from what is happening in other places in Nigeria. But in a way, I don't think it's impossible to address the challenges. It's a bit complicated.
So does the forum understand the complications, and how are they addressing it?
Yeah, the first is the psyche of our people. Over time, there have been these issues of marginalization, the region not being treated equally with, other regions. And then, some people now decided to capitalize on that. At the initial time, it was an issue of, we have been marginalized, and then a lot of people keyed into that. Then along the line, it developed into violence. And then later, the same agitation has been hijacked, by, criminals, bandits, and kidnappers. So that's why I say it's a bit complicated.
I can ask you, Your Excellency, who are the people that Saudi's governors have been able to identify as behind these heinous acts? You have referenced the fact that they are bandits and terrorists and all of that, and some would say that's escapist. It's only fair to just say, okay, those are the people that have been fomenting this trouble all over the nation. But speaking specifically for the Southeast, who are the people that are behind these heinous acts, and what could one say is the reason? What do they want?
Well, you see, at the beginning where we have the IPOP saying the agitation, they're agitating for the creation of Biafra, and their reason is that, we are being marginalized. And then a lot of people keyed it. If anybody has differences, with the center, the person becomes a supporter of IPOP. If you sort anything, at the federal level, and you fail to get it, you become a supporter of IPOP. Those in diaspora that went for greener pastures and they fail to, get such, they will become very bitter with the Nigerian society. And so the followers, kept, growing. And then the issue of herdsmen came up. And there were a couple of killings in Southeast. And the people were a bit helpless, and felt the governors were not protecting them. But you see, the governors were protecting them. But the governors, swore oath under the Constitution. And we're doing a lot of things that we're not going to be saying in public. But we did quite a lot to ensure that, that there is peace between the herdsmen and, our farmers. But that's not the way some people that were aggrieved wanted us to go. But that's the way we should go. If you recall what is happening elsewhere between the herdsmen and the farmers, you will see that the governors of Southeast really did well. So then came up the IPOP with ESN, which is the militant aspect of the IPOP. And then they started to issue orders of threats. If you do this, we will do this, and all kind of stuff. And so along the line, the whole exercise is being hijacked. In Southeast, you no longer have kidnappers, cultists. Everyone that, does one criminality or the other claims to be IPOP. And also, some politicians, from what we learned, also capitalized on that and began to also import killers from outside Southeast, to advance their political interest. Like what we are seeing in Anambra State from the accounts of yesterday. I don't have details. And so these are, the situations we found ourselves.
All right, but Your Excellency, there are those who are of the opinion that the Southeast governors actually have to take a huge part of responsibility as to how this has festered, because they think when this was at what they described as the elementary stage, that the authorities there could have seen these loopholes before it then graduated to the directive to sit at home, the formation of certain security networks up until when politicians now started importing people to come in to those areas and begin to carry out some of these things. So they thought what the governors are doing now, they should have done a long time ago.
Yeah, but I don't know what the governors of Southeast are doing now that they didn't do before. You see, some uninformed elements, felt that the only way to solve the problem between us and herdsmen, was to ask them to leave Southeast. But that is very unnational, because our people also live in the North. They also live in the West. And so we had to mediate to ensure that we set up a kind of committees that involves these herdsmen and our farmers. And in many cases, we triumphed. But you must also know that most of these killer herdsmen came from outside. And we'll be shouting it at the national level, and we'll be shouting it at the state level. So there's nothing we are doing now that we didn't do. But remember that the governors, the attempts they made, to also checkmate some of these things, because of the psyche of our people, being brainwashed, I can use that, believing that someone is fighting for them. We didn't really have the support of the masses because they have been indoctrinated, they have been misinformed. But now the situation is changing because they are beginning to say, look, if you are fighting for us, why are you killing us? Even if you are not the one killing us, by your words, by your broadcast, you've made ways for us to be killed. And we no longer will tolerate that.
You referenced the youth earlier, and even now that you have spoken, and it's a little bit fuddling, Your Excellency, that, while these things are going, as you said earlier, all these killer herdsmen and all those things, they aren't as strong anymore as, these other issues that are from within the Southeast itself. It only begs one question as to how significantly, how strongly, how persuasively the leadership, the elite, the political class in the Southeast are carrying the people along in order for them to have a unity of purpose.
I don't understand what you're exactly driving at.
Okay, the point I'm trying to make, Your Excellency, the point I'm trying to make is, generally, much of the insecurity that is going on now, from what you have said, they are happening from within the Southeast by, members of the Southeast. So I'm just wondering if there is anything the political class is doing, the elite in the Southeast is doing, to ensure a carry along, such that everyone can sheath their swords and work for the peace and progress of the Southeast and Nigeria in general.
Yeah, about 2 months back, we had very extensive meeting, with, our larger stakeholders in Southeast and with Ohaneze. And we asked Ohaneze to drive, a number of committees, committee on security, committee on marginalization, committee on industrialization, committee on youth development. And they did. Just yesterday, they submitted their report to us, which we're going to escalate to our stakeholders to study, and then we now come up with, means and ways to implement them. But don't forget that the NSAS gave us also the opportunities in Southeast, and we have organized a number of our youths, in conferences, and then we have set up a number of empowerment programs, for the youths. On the issue of carrying the people along, we started our governors' meeting in Southeast, with calling the stakeholders to join us. I think of late other regions have emulated that. So we've done everything possible to carry everybody along, and the clergy, very important people in this project, because our people tend to believe them, when they mount the pulpits and talk to the people. So we've been carrying them along. But we are also talking to them that, let people set aside, personal differences, set aside, bitterness, if there are bitterness against the federal government, against the governors, against, one another, because these are part of what, is influencing, negative comments against, the governors or the federal government. These are the issues.
Well, definitely very big issues, because you also recall an interview conducted with Senator Baribe, which some of them made the headlines this morning, that there are more than 30 separatist groups in the Southeast. Do you agree with him?
Well, he's talking from the point of his information, but, as a governor, I don't see that. Yes, the separatist groups, we know of IPOP, we know of, MAZOP, but MAZOP, has never been violent, for sure. And they're approachable and they tend to reason with us. But these other people, the IPOP, their command is never in the country. And every one of them stays out and then dishes out messages of bitterness and messages of threat and fear and killings. And they are not here with us to feel the pain. So these are just the two groups I can talk about. But I fear that if IPOP does not fail to stop and call their people to order and to stop these threats and the killings and all this stuff, that other groups will rise up to counter it. But there's no way Southeast will be grounded. There's no way Southeast will be sitting at home while other part of the country, will be doing businesses. And whereas we are the people that should actually be moving, because we earn our living by moving.
So how is it that those persons who you described as maybe fifth columnists, how are the people listening to them and not listening to the elected officials? We can't understand it.
Well, you've listened to their messages, and the messages that they dish out, they are not the kind of things that elected governors will implement. No elected governor, we come and say, this set of people for so reason, they must leave Southeast. There are good people everywhere, there are bad people everywhere. And so when you play on the psyche of the people, when you play on the issue of marginalization, the people tend to, agree with them. They tend to, believe in them. But most people that are informed, like all our people in the North, they are not in support of them. All our people in the West are not in support of them. They may have issues of saying, look, we should be treated equally. We should be given opportunities like other regions. But to ask us to start killing ourselves or start killing our visitors, start killing those who have been with us for a very long time, they are not in support of that. The majority of our people are not in support of that. But criminality is criminality, and a criminal is a criminal, always looking for opportunity. And this is the fact. And why it tends to be as if they have support is because the only way bad will continue to thrive when good people keep quiet. Why are the good people keeping quiet? Because they're afraid of isolated killings, because they don't have the police, the security people staying in their houses. And so if they talk and talk publicly, these evil people will go and isolate them and kill them. And that's why it appears that you don't have a lot of voices condemning what they're doing.
So that then suggests that there's a failing or loophole on the part of the police authorities and even the governors, because governors are chief security officers of the state, to secure the lives of those people. So if that were the case, that's a big challenge that the governors and security and police have to address, isn't that?
You see, the point is that information is very powerful. And when you want to solve a problem, you don't create another one. For example, when this thing started happening in Imo State, and the governor of Imo State, Governor Hope, rose up to the challenges. It happened in Ebonyi State. I rose up to the challenges. It's the same people that started shouting, and they labeled them unknown gunmen. People even suggested they were imported from us. I said, no, we are chief security officers, in our various states, and we understand what is happening. We know that it's our people that are killing our people. And they started killing, security men. They started burning houses. They started, stopping people from moving freely. And we started shouting. And they say, oh, we are importing security men to kill. And again, these policemen we are talking about, These people were killed in their duty post. These people were killed in their police, offices and their police post, police offices burnt, and they got demoralized. Our people didn't really rise up to condemn that. And don't forget also that security is the job of everybody. There's no way police or army or anybody can totally police Southeast. It is the willingness of the people that are risen now to say no, enough is enough, that we need to secure Southeast. And with their support, we are going to secure Southeast.
So are you now satisfied with the deployment of police and security agencies across the Southeast, your state inclusive?
Well, not at all. These are issues we want to also address with the security chiefs. The deployment is so lean, but I pity them very highly. Look at insecurity in the north also, in the west also. So the number of security men we have in this country is so poor. In Germany, I think every 6 people you see, 1 person is a security personnel. And that's why crime rate in Germany is very low. In New York, there are also a lot of crime happening there, but the truth remains that the moment this thing happens, the perpetrators are fished out and, to face the law. So, 2 things, the deployment not enough, yes, but we do not blame the federal government because generally we have, very low number of security people in this country. It's also challenges of finances. And then you now think about the morals of the security people in Southeast. Their morale is just beginning to rise because the way the number of them were killed, just not quite good at all. We owe them apologies. We owe them, support. We owe them encouragement so that they can rise up again, to protect the people.
But how do you mean you don't blame the federal government? I thought they are the ones who appoint the IGP, who in turn appoints and reassigns commissioners of police across the states.
See, this issue of federal government, every one of us is a federal government. We all born together, for the interests of this nation. There is no way the federal government can address, all the challenges without the support and sacrifices of the people. I'm saying that if we should employ the number of police that we should have in this country to police them, the army, other security agencies, the economy of this country may not be able to carry it. And that's why we've been agitating for, state police to be less expensive because a number of issues like intelligence gathering, will be addressed and which will be less expensive. And so when I say I don't blame them, it's because of every sector of this, economy is begging for, attention. That's why I say I don't blame them.
Well, Your Excellency, on a lighter note, when you said everyone is federal government, I'm wondering, who then is state government? But the local government at that. But seriously, when that communique, that you delivered yesterday said that the Southeast governors will end the sit-at-home, the spate of sit-at-home that's been going on in the Southeast for a while, one wonders exactly how. And it's very important to find a way to carry the people along, to communicate with the people to the effect. So how will the state governments in the Southeast achieve putting an end to the sit-at-home?
Well, it's a process, and we are at that stage now. Before now, don't forget that we, in every state, and of course every part of this country, we have armed robbers, we have kidnappers, we have cultists. And the state government, now talking about Southeast, been able to contain them. We didn't have this kind of killings. And so if you take it backwards to say, okay, when IPOP came and IPOP started agitation, no country that wants or a part of, let me just put it that you can never get, a nation out of a nation by the kind of hate speeches, being dished out. and then from hate speeches to threats of killings and the actual killings, and then formation of militant group, and so that's where we are, and the people now started to understand. Say, look, if you are fighting to protect us, why are you killing us? Because we are the ones killing ourselves. Occasionally, people are imported from outside to do these killings, but majorly, like in my state, all the people that we have caught that did the killings, all came from southeast. None came from outside. I'm talking in particular reference to my state. And so the people are beginning to understand. And if people understand, then we will be going back to where we were in fighting criminality. And nobody is going to complain. So we will be telling all our youths everywhere in Southeast, whatever are your grievances, come, let us reason together. Even God Almighty says that you should come with your positions, you should come with your complaints, and let's reason together. So we'll be asking them, let us reason together. You can't be more Catholic than Pope. You can't shave our heads in absence. Whatever is your problems, let us understand with you. If the problem is unemployment, you have nothing doing, we are going to leave every other thing to make sure that you are empowered, And we've been empowering our youth, The only thing is that when you are in the bush, we don't have access to you. So you have to come out of the bush and work with us to empower you. But when you say no, that you will go in the name of agitation to cause criminality, we will isolate you as a criminal. And this is where we are. And we are very serious about it. Any day anybody says sit at home, people are not sitting at home out of obedience or compliance. People are sitting at home because of fear for their lives. If you have a policeman, to everybody, nobody is going to, obey any sit at home. Nobody is going to obey that. So we are going to do what we've been doing to safeguard the lives of our people, because we've gotten the confidence of our people that these people do not mean well for us, and that you cannot have Biafra by the way they're going about it. Meanwhile, every elite in Southeast is not desirous of Biafra. We don't want Biafra. We want to be treated equally like other regions in Nigeria. So this idea of Biafra is madness, and we have said, no, we don't want Biafra. And it's because, according to our leaders, that we are not being equally treated, that gave rise to this loophole, and people began to work on our psyche, and they began to form these agitation groups. So this is what we intend to do.
Well, it turns out that the separationist groups are not just in the southeast, they're equally in the south, and who knows where else you could hear some of these matters. And so there's a fundamental challenge that needs to be addressed by governments, such that these kind of matters, the reason for which they come up in the first place, are addressed. That perhaps those might just become history if they are. But the forum equally referenced Ibubagu again. So what exactly is the current situation with that?
Before I say that, let me talk about other agitation groups from other regions. Let me say that I don't truly believe in those people that I don't mind being castigated, but the truth is that we are being given a push through pretentious, agitation, so that we will continue to, fire on, because if we go our separate ways, the Southeast people will lose a lot. We've invested a lot in every part of this nation. And so it is not to advantage, to leave our investment and then walk away. And so we are being prompted, to, a kind of say, look, the other people that are agitating to have a nation of their own. Those people are at advantage because we've invested heavily. And the tendency is that if this thing happens, we're going to leave our investment and walk away. We did that before during the Civil War. We do not intend to do that, again. But there's nothing bad in, fighting to be recognized, in fighting to be treated like others, in fighting to have a united, equitable nation, Nigeria. We are better and we are bigger when we are together, and I believe that we will achieve that, not through hate speeches, not through insults to governors or to Mr. President. It can never come true. If I'm a governor and you are insulting me, you believe that I'm going to address, whatever, I forgot to do for you or whatever are your challenges. I will do that. But if you approach me in a simple way, or you criticize me constructively, then I will be able to do that, But to insult me and castigate me and say all manner of things that are not, even the truth, there's no leader that will be happy, about that. On the issue of Ebubago, I think this Ebubago have been a vigilante, and through the act of the House of Assembly, they are turned into what our people want, and that's the regional security outfit, that we could name Ebubago. I have since passed my law. My Ebubago is functional and very helpful, working hand in hand with the security agencies. In Imo State, that has happened. In Abia, I think they are the level of, passing their law. But the vigilantes, don't forget, are there, they're working. I just read on news, where these hoodlums went to kill two vigilante people in one of the states of Southeast, but the police, arrested them. So it shows that they're working. It shows that they are there to protect the people. So we have given till the end of the year that other states have not passed their law to do that, and we will all come together in a regional headquarters, which is in Enugu, to launch it. But before then, all the states are giving the go-ahead for our leaders to launch the Ebubago, outfit. They are going to also be very helpful. They have not been allowed, before now to really act, but now they are going to act with the community people and with the security agencies to protect the people. The people are desirous of being protected.
Well, I'm just wondering, Your Excellency, on that matter about, the approach of the populace to elected officials by way of insults, don't you think that there are those who do that because they don't know any better? For instance, several people will always refer to previous governments who were equally insulted, if not more, but they chose to handle it differently. And so if they the authorities reach out to certain persons differently, who knows, it might even end up winning them to their side, as opposed to just having that stance that, no, you can't have this kind of opinion, so if you do, you already will not have access. Can there be a change of approach on the part of leaders? Because they are supposed to approach things differently, I might add.
Again, Chamberlain, we are all leaders in our own rights. You are commanding, some sections of people. If you go to your chief executive, you have needs that everything being done in China, you do not agree with that. And there is no way that you can do everything right. But in trying to address that and you begin to insult your chief executive, I don't think he's going to listen to you. But if you approach him and say, look, A, B, C, D are not good, I'm sure he's going to listen to you. So I don't think it has to do with leaders. When you do not want to work, and again they will ask me, where is the work? Ask governors about the attitude of some of our people towards work. And it's these people that believe that, the money belongs to them and they don't need to work to earn the money. And these are the people that are filled with bitterness, and these are the people that approach issues. But they're not a majority. They're not a majority. The only thing is that, bad words, incite so much and depend so much. But a lot of youth, a lot of our people that approach, governance, with decorum, they have always gotten whatever they, sought for. And so how we, be advising that hate speeches will further divide us. Hate speeches will not help to build the country. Not that they have no any other way. There's a saying in my play that bad words used to be in the mouth and you say the good one. If everybody should say it's mine, then there will be no nation Nigeria, there will be no world to live in. And so it is a question of, sometimes how you were brought up, and another one, the way you are filled with bitterness. For example, if somebody is very bitter with Dave Umahi, the governor of Ebonyi State, maybe he didn't get one thing or the other, he will carry the same bitterness against Mr. President. Why? Because they will say that Dave Umahi supports Mr. President. So that's how these things are working. The bitterness is not being on objective basis. It just most of the time on personal levels. And that, when somebody is bitter, I say, why are you bitter? May not be able to even explain. Chairman, I want you to try it and ask somebody, why are you bitter? Because everyone has got a role to play in the affairs of this nation. Everyone has got a role. Everyone has something to give. And this is very important. We need patriotism to rebuild our nation. So this is my belief.
Well, Your Excellency, one of the issues anyone would raise with you about the patriotism is the trust deficit that has depleted over the years. But just before we go, you would recall that INEC has been speaking quite significantly about their uncertainties concerning the elections in Anambra State, which is a southeast state. And they are, of course, generally quoting issue of insecurity and all of that. Is there anything, first of all, what's your take on the position of INEC? And is there anything the Southeast governors can do or are doing to stave off all of the challenges that INEC is raising?
We spoke about election in Anambra State yesterday. Unfortunately, our colleague, the governor of Anambra State, was not able to come and said he was sending the deputy. We did not also see the deputy. We would have been able to evaluate, the stories we are hearing that the killings in Anambra State is, politically motivated. But on the other hand, you look at what IPOB is saying, that there should be no election in Anambra State. Two things. If there is no election and we go into a constitutional crisis, of course, the National Assembly and Mr. President are there to sort that out. But it will be a slap on the federal government because, maybe some political parties, that have seen they will not be able to win are importing people to do the killings. These were some of the reports we got yesterday, unconfirmed reports. But IPOB is positioning themselves, as the killing, agent, because they are the ones saying there will be no election. They are the ones saying if you come out, we kill you. If you be any, Nigeria plate number, we will isolate you, we kill you. So even if they are not the one killing, they have taken responsibility for the killings. And so I think that the federal government must do everything possible to show that, they are in charge and the election must hold, even if it is shifted within the limit of INEC constitutional powers, that election should hold.
Just one more thing or so before we go. When you spoke about killings and those who were apprehended being of, the same ethnic extraction, where do we place the belief or impression of Imo State Governor, who at the time said that over 70% of those who are carrying out those killings were from outside the southeast?
I accommodated that in my, comments this morning. That occasionally we've been told that politicians also import people from outside to do the killing. So it's a mixture of, political differences and then the IPOB, own position. But I continue to say, and I tell IPOB, say, look, the matter has gone beyond you. Your matter is being hijacked, but you paved the way for it to be hijacked. And so every criminal is now claiming to be IPOB and they is doing the killings. And even when you say the sit at home is suspended, has it been suspended? No. And if you say that, yes, people are not complying because of fear, are they not killings in those days of sit at home? They are killings that are burning of vehicles, which shows that IPOB is not in charge, is not in command anymore, but pure criminality, which we are going to deal with. So I agree with the governor of Imo State that some people are imported to do the killings. But in my state, we don't have political killings, even though opposition may say otherwise. But from my security point of view, and of course, security agencies are there to get. So what we have had in the past has been us killing ourselves, which God has had to stop, and we're grateful to God. So that's my position about it.
All right, then, Your Excellency Dave Umahi, Governor of Ebonyi State and Chairman Southeast Governors Forum, thank you for talking to us today on the program.
After watching, if you do not understand what Umahi was saying, go back to that video one after the other so that you can understand very well. Let me put out one thing there. Issue of hijack. Anytime he mentions hijack, go back and watch it again. Anytime he mentions hijack, hold on that word. It is only the government that hijacks every institution or every organization that means well for their people. It is only the government that does that. It is only the government, no other individual that does that. No other individual. It is only the government. So whenever you hear the issue of hijack from these people, they are the one. He came there also to tell us that they are going to form different organizations to come against IPOB. This is a hint. He tells us that anti-Biafra organization will form. That soon another organization will arise, which will be fighting against the main people who are agitating. That another organization will arise, which will fight against the main people who are agitating peacefully. What does that tell you? They are already cooking it up. They are already cooking it up. Two unknown gunmen to fight against the legitimate organization that is fighting for freedom, which is IPOB and ESN. They have already introduced their unknown gunmen. He said this in that very interview. What does that tell you? They are responsible. He said that people who have hijacked this are politicians. There are politicians who have interest. He mentioned politicians. He mentioned it. Check very well from everything. He mentioned it. They are the people. They are the people who are causing mayhem in that very country called Nigeria. And so many other things you can pick from what he has said. There is no place IPOB was convicted. There's no place you can see that ESN was convicted. ESN is a legitimate, and he admitted that the people are in support of ESN and IPOB. He admitted that the governors do not have control of what is happening in the Southeast. And this is why they are coming to demonize the IPOB and ESN by all means possible. And how do they try to demonize the IPOB and ESN? By killing innocent people and then pin it down on the IPOB and ESN. But we are not stupid. Biafrans are not stupid. We know who is fighting for us and who is fighting against us. You see the communique they issued. There was no atom of reconciliation in their communique. It was just threat, and threat to threaten the people. Now they have invited the military to come and kill more people in the southeastern region. Their military, what they think is their solution is bringing military. The same thing they did to Asuna Bazin and Kanu. After Asuna Bazin and Kanu went and held a meeting with them, told them to go and continue to pursue your structuring, bring it where I will stand on my ground and do what I'm doing. At the end of the day, if you bring yours, if it is better, we follow it. What did they do? They went and brought Python dance. Python dance that killed 28 people in the whole of Asuna Bazin and Kanu. Today, they have done the same thing again, bringing military to come and kill innocent Biafrans. Chuks is not asleep. He will fight for us. And they are going to go home disgraced. Umahi and his cohort will pay with their own blood in this very issue. And the janjaweed that they are using is going to kill them. The same people they are working for will take their life in order to frame up IPOB. The same people they are working for will take their life one by one. Every governor, every politician in the southeastern part of Nigeria, they are already listed marked for death. Who is going to carry it out? The Fulani Janjaweed. They will do it because Biafrans are their own. Biafrans are not speaking the language of the politician. We are not on the same page and will never ever be on the same page. It doesn't matter the propaganda they bring. Biafrans are going home. The only thing that Biafrans want is referendum. That is the only vote that Biafrans can cast. Anything that has to do with political movement in the country called Nigeria, Biafrans are not part of it. They have spoken about it. They have said it openly. It doesn't matter where you're waiting for the speech to come from. Biafrans are acting and saying it, that they do not want to participate in anything as a real election. So, if you are conducting a nation, you are conducting it for yourself.